Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Juliana, and on my channel I speak about my exchange year and about my life in general. So if you're new to my channel, I was an exchange student in the United States in 2017-2018. I haven't made an exchange student video in a while, and this video was really requested, so I thought, why not make this video? I'm currently filming my phone because I actually moved to my own apartment and I forgot my camera at home and I still haven't got it. So yeah, today's video is about how to be an exchange student or how to study abroad. I'm going to be talking about high school exchange, not college exchange, because it's a little bit different than high school exchange. There's something similar, but most of these things do not apply to exchange in university. So if you're a high school student thinking about going on exchange, watch this video. If you're a college student, I don't know if this video will give you a lot of information, but you can still watch it. Also, every exchange year is different and every application process and everything is different. I went to my exchange year with Rotary, and its application process is really different from exchange student companies, so just keep that in mind. Before you do anything, like decide an organization or country or anything, you need to think about these things. How are you funding your year? Most companies that offer exchange year cost a lot of money. I'm talking about tens of thousands of euros or dollars. Well, if your parents are ready to pay for that year, that's great, but for many people that's not the case because, well, it's a lot of money. So how are you gonna fund your year? Are you gonna work before the year and save up money or stuff like that? And also you need to think about, you will need to have money abroad to buy, if you want to do something with your new friends, or if you want to go on a night out or something. I don't know, if you want to buy food, extra food, ice cream. So yeah, that's really important to think, how are you gonna fund your exchange year? Next thing is, of course, is how are you gonna turn your parents into the idea that being an exchange student is what you want to do. For me, I actually made a little book about different exchange companies, comparing them. So it really proved my parents that I have done my research about it and I know how much it costs and everything about it. Also, you need to think about that exchange years are usually really glamorized. What I mean by that is people that go on exchange, and exchange student companies especially, like to bring exchange years in a really good light. It's a perfect year and nothing bad happens. But how many times have you had a perfect year in your life? It was all good, no downhills at all. Even if you pay a lot of money for your exchange year, a lot of things can go wrong and you need to be prepared for that. It doesn't mean your exchange year is bad, it just means it's life. The coronavirus just happened to this year's exchange students, they had to go home, which is sad because they didn't get refund, I think. Definitely think about that, because if you go on an exchange year thinking it's gonna be perfect and it's just gonna be uphill through the whole year, you're gonna be really disappointed. I would rethink of going on an exchange if you can't accept that it's every other year, it can't be fully perfect. Okay, now that we have covered the before anything part, let's go to the first thing that you should know before the whole application. And what you need to do first, well, that is choose an organization that you want to go with to the exchange year with. A disclaimer, some people choose to not use an organization. Maybe they have relatives abroad and they just go live with them and apply to school by themselves. I do not have experience of that, so I'm just going to talk about exchange student companies and organizations. So there are two types of exchange companies you can use. First is the company that usually costs a lot of money, but they'll take almost every person to the program, so you have a really high chance of getting to be an exchange student. And then there's second option, which is an organization like Rotary, which does not cost that lot of money. My year was about couple thousand, maybe even less, but they have really good reputation and they only choose like a couple people. Like Rotary, they have Rotary clubs, and every Rotary club only takes one person that they send off on an exchange. I applied for 5 different clubs and I only got to be an exchange student from 1 club. So chance of you to become an exchange student is lower if you choose like a non-profit organization, but it's a lot better if you are funding your exchange by yourself or if your parents don't have that much money. But definitely always compare to different organizations. For example, you can think about these. Which country would you be interested to going into study? For example, Rotary do not let you choose your country. You get, I think, 4 wishes, and you put them in, like, you put the countries in preference list. So I had my wish list as USA, Canada, Italy, Spain, I think, and I end up in the United States. But you can end up in your last choice. If you really want to go to the United States, like you don't have any other choice, but you want to go to the United States, like you don't want to do an exchange here if you don't get there, you should choose organization. Usually it's a company. Organizations usually don't let you choose your destination. Companies like EF, STS, and Explorers, AFS, other companies, they let you choose your destination. And also I know, for example, Explorers, if you want to go to a specific state, you can pay more money to get to that state. Like if you want to study in California, you can do that. So keep that in mind. Also, if you are interested in doing, maybe continuing your sport, if you're like a pro level athlete, or you really want to go to an art school abroad, you should definitely consider an organization or a company that offers a program where you can specify like doing sports abroad or something. Because for example, me, I really wanted to do ice hockey abroad, but I could not do it because I ended up in a state where there was like no hockey or it was so expensive. If you really want to continue doing your sport, you should contact the company and see what they can do for you. So the last thing to consider when choosing an organization is of course the price. As I said, non-profit organizations cost less, a lot less than the companies like EF or Explorers. I do not have any experience from those companies. Well, I have experience from EF from like a shorter trip, but I can't really compare it to a whole year. Second thing is which country do you want to go to? I think the most important thing is to remember that wherever in the world you'll go, you will definitely have a time of your life. Some people do not have good experience, but it's usually not because of the country. It's usually because maybe their host family wasn't really a match. I can definitely say that I would have been so happy even if I didn't go to the United States. If I end up in Italy, I think it still would have been so much different than living in Finland, so definitely would have been worth it. And again, if you really have a specific country in mind, you have to remember that some organizations do not let you choose the country. Also, places like Australia are usually really popular, and United States also, but I know in Australia they send less people than, for example, United States. And also the school starts different time there, so the applications, like deadlines and everything, can be really different. Okay, now that you've chosen your organization and your country, it's the application process. Every company has different application process. Most companies have this thing where you just apply online. They call you and they set up an interview, and then they interview you and maybe your family, and then they tell you you got in or you didn't get in. But with organizations like Rotary or Lions Club, the application process is more longer and different because, as I said before, they only choose like a couple people a club to go on exchange, not like hundreds of people. My Rotary process was like I wrote a letter about why I want to go to exchange, introducing myself and what I want to do in the future. Based on that application, they called some people to go and interview. The interview was just you and the interviewee, and they asked about basically questions based on your letter. After that, I had another interview, which was a group interview, and after that I got accepted. That was just the interview process. Of course, there's a lot of paperwork. My paperwork, I had to go to dentist and doctor. I had to get a letter from my principal. I also had to host an exchange student with my company or organization. I know that companies like Explorers or EF, you do not have to host an exchange student, but I honestly think it was really good to host an exchange student because you get to know what you would face in the future. Every company is different, every application process is different. But what I do know is there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of documents you have to deliver, and you have to be really careful that you present yourself in the best way because, well, your host family is gonna choose you depending on that application. In my application, I had to tell about my hobby and what I like to do and stuff. And yeah, that's basically a brief introduction on how to be an exchange student. I can make a whole video about my own experience, like my application process and how my exchange year went. This was just really brief example on how the whole exchange student process goes. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
You don't know if people are gonna dig it, you know?